I can't express it. I'm happy. Believe me, I'm happy. And it's difficult to put into words. And we have together worked through this for the entire week, and I think we've talked about it between each and all of us, and all of us wanted so much for her to be safe and well and get back to Roanoke okay.
12-year-old Brittany is safe. 32-year-old Easley in custody tonight. And this story unfolding right before our very eyes. There's still stuff going on right now as we're on the air, because we're being told that Brittany is safe with San Francisco police, and she's talking to them right now. Found in a retail store, recognized by someone who saw them on a TV show much like this. Called San Francisco police. Police come to the scene. They're at, as we said, the Safeway. And now there's a camp nearby. KRON confirms that it's a Safeway north of Golden Gate Park, so it would make sense that that might be the park. We also find out that Brittany knows her mother was murdered. Our first caller tonight, Terry from Pennsylvania. Sorry you had to wait so long, Terry, but there's so much happening this hour.
Oh, that's okay, and it's just absolutely wonderful that she's been found, and my condolences to her family on the loss of her mother. Also, as a mother who at one time experienced a missing child, I would like to thank Nancy and the HLN Network for putting this show on the air, because it's very crucial that this information gets broadcast, and as we see in this case, from where you are until San Francisco, that this girl is actually able to be brought home safely is a marvelous, marvelous thing, thanks to the media.
Oh, Terry, absolutely. And I mean, just witness what happened tonight. You need no more proof than there is a reason that these pictures have to be shown, and someone has to go after this story. Jeff Gardier, let me go back to you for just a moment. And let me show you, or watch with me, some of this 6 minutes of brand new tape. We thought we'd be leading with this tonight, because this was brand new today. 6 minutes, and they're in this store in Norfolk, and they're walking out, and they're actually stopped. You see in the tape that they're walking together, but she's very close to him, but there's not any contact. And then they're stopped as they're walking out, because they trigger an alarm, and 2 guards come up to talk to them. They're then let go, and you know those guards didn't know. This was Friday. They didn't know that Brittany was missing. Nobody knew. There you see Brittany in the orange sweater right there. When you watch this with us, Jeff, what do you see?
Well, what I see is a situation where a lot of people can mistake this as being that she has, in fact, done this willingly, or they're questioning why she didn't run. And the answer is really quite simple. Either she was being threatened in a way that we really can't see right now. We see that with predators all the time, Sam. They'll tell the child, if you scream, if you run, if you say anything, I will kill a relative. I've perhaps killed your mom in this case, but I will hurt you or hurt someone else that you love. And of course, the other thing that may be going on, and you alluded to this, was some sort of Stockholm syndrome, where the captive becomes dependent on that individual for her life, for her survival, and therefore there's some sort of simpatico that's going on. But all of that is part of a brainwashing. And so when she does come to her senses, when she starts getting through some of this trauma, she is going to be able to say exactly what was on her mind, and the fact that she was traumatized, that she's angry, that she's scared for her life.
Gene Casares, I want to talk to you for just a moment, because all this week you were talking, and I watched you, and you were on it, talking about the relationship between the 3 of them, Brittany's mother, Brittany, and Easley, all being played out in social media. What do we know? Do we believe that Brittany was afraid of him? Do we believe that she liked him? They had nicknames for each other? What do we get out of that?
You know, I think we can go both ways on that, Sam. We don't know. We know that Brittany's mother met Easley on the internet. He moved in October. That's not that long ago. And so he was a live-in boyfriend. But it seemed like Brittany and Easley got along really, really well. How well? We don't know. We do know that her grandmother and her aunt were very concerned over Thanksgiving that he was touching her hair a little bit too much. The looks were just a little too long from Easley. And so I think it's anybody's guess what has happened to this young woman at this point.
Well, I'll tell you what I don't like when I hear some of this stuff. I hear the nicknames going back and forth between a 32-year-old man and a 12-year-old. She looks very composed and almost adult-like in some of these pictures, but then you catch a little glimpse of her, and you realize that she's only 12 years old. And he has a nickname for her like Short Stack, and she calls him, I don't even know if I'm right on this, but somebody yell at me in my ear if I'm not, because I don't want to mischaracterize this. But HCB, or handcuff buddy, I don't even like what that sounds like. I don't want to know. And now to know that the grandmother and the great aunt are there at Thanksgiving, and they see some, as they've described it, some touching, and they call Human Services, right? And they say, I see something I don't like. I want somebody to investigate, and nobody investigates.
And you know, Sam, that's the common denominator in how many cases that they call the Department of Social Services, Child Protective Services, and that's where it ends. And finally they call back, Sam, and guess what? That's when the grandmother said, it's too late. She's gone.
That's, you know, who we still have on the phone, Gene, so I'd like to go back to her, is Brittany's great aunt. Lois Chiquette. Lois, I know you've been listening, and I don't, in some way, I know how tough this is for you because you have a loss in your family, and I know how joyous this moment is for you because Brittany's coming back to you as soon as she can get back. But take me back to the conversations with other family members about what you all might have thought was inappropriate between Easley and Brittany. What were people uncomfortable with?
I know that it was inappropriate. They were at my house, and he was stroking her hair. He was touching her hands. And if they had stayed very long, I probably would have said something that day. But I didn't. I called her mother the first of the week, and I asked her about it. And she said that...
First of the week. So that was after
she
Thanksgiving.
had talked to Brittany, and that nothing inappropriate had happened, and that he was leaving soon.
So she said he was leaving soon.
Yes, and I said, well, you call me when he's gone. I want to know.
So now...
She never called.
So you call Salem and Halifax Social Services.
Yes, I did.
And one of them doesn't respond to you. The other one gets back to you on Monday. You call on a Friday because you're uncomfortable with this. Now, you honestly, and all of us here and at home, know that you did the best you could with this situation. There's nothing more that you could have done. But how do you feel about that?
I was very upset. I don't know that it would have saved Tina, but it would have certainly given them a couple of extra days looking for Brittany.
Looking for Brittany. So when they said that the grandmother called on Friday, that Friday, because they were at this woman's house for Thanksgiving, which was on the 25th. The grandmother called her daughter on Friday, which was the 26th, to talk about what she had observed. And it appears that the grandmother called Family Services on the 3rd, which is December 3rd. We have the Walmart video of Jeff and Brittany in Walmart on December 3rd. And if Children and Family Services called back on the 6th, that was a Monday. And at that point, you know, Brittany was already gone. Tina has already been killed. So there was a whole week that went by that nobody called Children and Family Services, according to where this is coming down. Thanksgiving's the 25th, the 26th they took. A week later on Friday, she calls Department of Children and Family Services. Children and Family Services called back on December 6th, and Brittany's already gone.